Kate. Hi, RJ.
Hello.
How are you all?
So I came to the last in-person CAS meeting that there was. I guess it was in February.
Uh-huh.
And then I joined right after that. I joined CAS. And then the world ended. So I'm really looking forward to this meeting to kind of learn how I can get, I feel like I was so pumped to get started with CAS, and then it kind of fizzled out.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that today in our presentation, and Joyce will give all the updates on that, like what's going on and about all the different different kind of exhibits. So you get you're going to get more information today about what's happening with that.
Cool.
Yeah, we're all in that difficult situation where nobody can predict what's going on.
I know. I just need to find a way to keep this little light on fire while we figure everything out.
Yes. And so the first part of the meeting it's the networking. And that's what I'm going to kind of talk about. We're all going to talk, of course, about sharing our experiences. So we would love to hear your experiences during the sheltering place and with your art and how you're handling this situation. So we're going to kind of work with each other, talk to each other, and see how we can benefit from each other.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yes. Hi, Martha.
You're on mute.
That better?
Now you're just quiet.
Okay. Well, let me see if I can. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So let's hope more and more people join for the networking part. But we can kind of start talking a little bit, and then I'm going to start what I was going to talk about. But we can introduce each other like more formal. I guess I don't remember seeing you, Matt. Maybe you were there. Were you there at the last meeting, Matt?
No, this is actually my first meeting that I've made it to. I joined at the end of last year, and I keep saying that I'm going to go to the meetings, and then I kept being busy. But I put it on my calendar, and I made sure that I didn't double book myself this time.
Nice.
So this is like this Zoom meeting is like a blessing in disguise, because more people can join. Because you don't have to worry about the commute, because this is the 6 p.m. is such a bad time in Austin.
Yes.
The traffic.
Yeah.
So hi Joyce, hi Terry.
Hello.
Hi.
So nice to have you, Matt. We are really excited you're here.
Yeah, I'm really glad to be here.
So what kind of art do you do, Matt?
So my main art is I do climbing photography. My partner and I are both rock climbers, and I also
cool.
climb mountains. And so I take my camera and my strobes with me out into the mountains and make some pretty intricate photos of climbers.
Wow.
Matt, were you just on a podcast talking about this? Like in the last few
I
months?
wasn't, but I wish.
I just heard somebody talking about that same kind of concept a few days ago, and now here you are. It must be a sign.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm Shruti.
Podcast, but I haven't for a while.
So I'm Shruti, and I've been with the CAS for like 2+ years. And I just love it. Really enjoy working with all the members, and just it's a great atmosphere. Very inspirational.
Cool.
I guess maybe of this group, I've probably been part of it longer than anybody. I've been in it about 10 years or so.
Yep, I think you win the prize. Yeah, I've seen some of your photos, Matt. I think now that you describe your work, I remember one of a climber like hanging by one eye. It's like amazing. There's so much. It's so dynamic and dramatic, and it's a beautiful composition.
Thank you very much. That's actually, I have a couple photos that are similar to that, but there's one in particular that's my favorite that I've made that I think was the photo that I submitted for the newsletter when I joined.
I think that's probably the one I saw, and it's kind of, the photo's impressive, and I can't even imagine what you had to do to get into position and then hold your camera and not fall off the cliff.
Yeah, and that specific photo also used 2 strobes, so I had to get them set up and boomed out over the cliff too first.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
What is your Instagram handle?
Roaming Matt, as in roaming about the countryside.
Ah,
And that's also my website is roamingmatt.com.
Follow.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we were thinking like we can wait a couple more minutes for more people to join. And I would like us to share about our experiences during the shelter in place. Specifically, how we are handling our business of art. How is it impacting us, and maybe helping each other? We have tips for each other, kind of feedback for each other. So that's what we are hoping to do the first 30 minutes of networking. And I'm hoping we'll see more new faces today.
More what?
More people today, more new faces.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, everybody.
hi.
Hi, Leslie.
Hi, Leslie.
I haven't been doing a lot of art. I just have a hard time getting motivated to do it. However, I have made a lot of masks. I've made about 60 masks.
Wow.
I've given them to friends and family and then donating some.
Nice.
It's a very noble thing to do. It's great.
Well, for some reason I could get motivated to do that, but I haven't been able to get real motivated to do much art.
Yeah.
Are you being creative with your fabric choices?
Well, it's what I haven't bought anything. Basically it's stuff that I had in my house.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you wouldn't be
Well,
creative.
it's kind of like I use the fabric that's most appropriate to make the mask out of.
Right.
Yeah, it feels like making masks is almost a whole second art for me at least. But I'm not doing it with sewing fabric ones. I'm 3D printing masks.
That's really cool.
Wow.
I've actually, right now, if I can turn the camera around, got the printer going
Oh, how cool.
more. And I've got this stack of masks right there that
Wow.
are ready to go out.
That's so rad.
Yeah, I'm the local coordinator for MakeTheMasks.com for the Austin area.
Wow, that's
Uh,
cool.
These are called Montana masks, and they're designed for hospitals to use. You can put N95s in the filter holder, And when you fit it to your face, you get an N95 that's sanitizable and reusable.
Ah,
That's fantastic.
Wow. Yeah.
It's been really fun, and a lot of my friends are making the fabric masks too, and I think that's awesome.
There's
And
a
most
lot of demand.
with 3D printers who are helping out with that are doing the ear savers and the different visors and stuff.
You know, I've seen a lot on the web about the mask. You know, people are doing all sorts of different designs and models, and you know, it's amazing how creative people are getting.
Yeah.
Jane, I see you.
Hi, Jane. Hi,
Bottom.
Brenda.
Hi, Brenda.
Hey, so if anybody has a good pattern that's comfortable, I guess I'm going to have to leave my denial behind and try to make some. I have a sewing machine.
Okay, well, I will send you a couple of different patterns. The one that we like the best is one we got off of the Washington Post, and it's like a fashion designer.
I'm down with fashion.
Yeah.
Fashion's good.
And well, they're not any more fashionable looking than the other ones, but I've got one from them and I've got one from the UT Medical School that are both good. So I'll send those to you.
Okay.
And Jane has one of my masks, but she seems to be muted.
yeah, I think her microphone's on, but she might not be listening.
Terry's mute. I can't hear Terry.
How are you doing, Brenda? I can't hear you.
Brenda, you're muted.
Brenda is muted.
Unmute.
Right,
Okay, how's
yeah,
that?
there
Can
you
you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Okay, good. Good.
Oh, that's so much better
Yeah,
than the other day. You fixed your microphone.
Yeah, I'm on my phone this time. I'm on my
okay.
phone this time, and so hopefully that'll work better than my desktop did. My husband's got this really cool little Bluetooth hands-free thingy that I'll have to buy one of my own so I can pair it with my own machine. But hopefully that will improve things. Hopefully.
I like Zoom. Zoom rocks.
Yep.
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
gotten to have conversations with my sister and brother in Dallas and that we wouldn't have done otherwise. And it's just been really great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
My friends that I normally walk with, instead of walking, we are once a week doing Zoom meetings.
Have you found that they extend your time? We were on the other day doing a kind of a run through of tonight's program. And at 30 minutes, it came on and said, your time has been extended to unlimited. It's like, oh, thank you.
Oh, is that neighborly?
Yeah.
Bless them.
I haven't gotten that, but you can just restart the same meeting. Once it pops you off, you can get right back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've been on one that was extended, but then sometimes it's not. I think it just
is it a
depends
subscription?
how busy
Is
the-
it,
Okay.
is it a subscription service?
Oh,
you
look.
can
Is it something else?
subscribe.
Yeah, you pay a monthly fee for a professional, for Zoom Pro. To get up to 100 users, you pay a monthly fee, but you can get a free account, but then you can only get a 40-minute long video conference. So that's why for all the people who've been doing free Zoom, lately more and more they seem to be extending it for free, just to be nice, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, that is. Well,
it's happened like 3 of the last 4 times for me just recently.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've helped my grandkid with his homework, but it was through a Zoom session that the school had set up. And so they were very strict about the boundaries, the limits. how much time he could take. And I thought, I'd kind of like to just get my own account, and then that way we could go over stuff without being so limited in our time.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. Get your own account, and then like I think Martha mentioned, if you exceed the 40 minutes, just re-click the link and you can get back in.
So I have like a small slideshow for like just 3 or 4 slides to kind of give us some idea what we want to quickly talk about in this next few minutes, and I'm going to share that with everyone. So here we go. Can you all see that?
Yeah, it's
Not yet.
Okay.
I don't.
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
Yes. So welcome to the networking session for our team or our meeting today. And the first thing, there are 3 things I have here: our experiences during shelter in place as an artist, how we are able to kind of hold our space, like holding our space in this environment for now, because we are not able to take our art places. We're all working from home, and to show support to each other because we are all in this together. And it's okay to ask for help. Like you have any questions in the next few or throughout the session, if you have any questions on how to do some things, or we can learn from each other. So these are the 3 things we want to talk about: our experiences, ask for help, and if any difficulties that we are going through during these times. So it'd be really nice to learn from each other and help each other out and show support. So who would like to share some experiences?
Well, I'll say that I think it's okay to not feel like painting. Like Martha said, you're doing. I find that it's interesting that once some of the expectations are removed, as we've had for the last 6 weeks or so, it's actually been kind of nice. And I think we find our true creative selves there, and we can follow what we want. And there's not a lot of deadlines and commitments, and it's really kind of refreshing. And do what you feel like doing.
Yeah.
I've cleaned my cabinets,
Oh, that's serious.
I didn't feel like it, but I did. Yeah.
I did mop the floor today.
Okay, good for you.
Yeah.
Done a little housekeeping, just a little. Mainly painting. But you know what happened to me today? My granddaughter called and did an interview with me.
Ooh, how cool.
For school. And I was very impressed with her questions. Very impressed. It was fun. It made my day.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel the same way as a couple of you others have mentioned, is that because all the festivals and our exhibits are getting canceled, I've lost the motivation sort of to paint. So that's kind of on the back burner, but instead I've been painting a bathroom, a bedroom, a closet, and I've got the powder room next on my list. So I think I'm nesting something.
Yeah, nesting. Good word.
We are becoming more organized, I would like to say. When we are cleaning, we are organizing. But I have had strange experience in the sense of I'm teaching art online, and that's been really challenging. So what I do is when I'm teaching, I ask them to, because it's so hard to see in those little cubic like squares what they're like. It doesn't look very clean and clear. So I ask them, they have to take pictures, send it to me during the class, and I can see what's going on and give them feedback. So that has been challenging.
By the way, Shruti, congratulations on having your art at City Hall.
Thank you so much.
That's very, very cool.
That's very cool.
Thank you.
Look at Brenda's working. She's doing a demo.
Yeah, I'm at,
Is that
Oh,
a rabbit's
no,
butt?
I'm just finishing up. See my bunny?
I love it.
I've kind of been working on her
Oh gosh, that's
since
cool.
before. Now she's just mopped down with black stuff. She's got to get fired, and then all of this black stuff it'll get darker, and in places where it's more opaque, it'll shine up just a little tiny bit. It's underglaze, but it's Amico, and Amico fluxes a little bit.
Oh, that
Anyway,
is fabulous.
yeah,
Yeah.
Very cute.
started out as she's a tribute piece to my mom, and I actually started her in February before things went so sideways. I started her in February because I was thinking about her a lot because she died in a February some years back. Anyway, she worked as a Playboy bunny when I was little bitty,
Mhm.
and so she was staying
Oh,
home
that is so
and
cool.
waiting table, those horribly high shoes, and so I started her out as Bunny Marilyn. That was her name. And so see there, you can see there's my sister me, and another little sibling that was miscarried. So it's it's kind of dark, but anyway, because so much stuff has happened. I haven't really had the heart to get out here, and I've been really distracted. We're renovating, and so I'm moving stuff around, or I'm talking with contractors, or I'm this and that, all these other things not in the shop. And finally I got her to her last step. She's been bisque fired on that really slow program that takes 48 hours so that she wouldn't crack. And so now she's almost done her name to shelter in place. So that's what we'll call her, sheltered in place. She's kind of got a fierce aspect, does she not?
I love her.
Because she's protecting her babies. It took me long enough. I've been working really slow. That's what you guys have been.
Well, you've been
Just
making
let go
masks
of
too,
the
right, Brenda?
expectations and work. So I've been making some other little things. Pardon me?
You've been making masks too, right?
We got some. Yes, I've been sewing. Yeah. Yes. So anyway, she's all mopped down, and I'm
She
gonna
is
work on something else
absolutely
while you guys.
awesome.
She'll get some. I'll get her done. If I go a little faster, I'd probably make some more work, but But anyway, I'm glad that I got another figure done. So now I got a goat, a cat, a horse, and now a bunny. I'm on to something with the animals. I like the animals. Okay. Somebody else talk.
Hi, Norm. Hi, Lisa.
Well, I guess I was chatting a little bit before about how my normal genre is climbing photography, but it's generally deemed not safe to climb right now because you have to be in close proximity to all of your climbing partners. So that means no climbing photos for me also. But what I've been doing instead is a series of, I've been calling them my pandemic portraits, where I'm going with a 1980s Russian camera that was my granddad's, and I'm making portraits of people all around the city. And I've been posting them on Instagram, and I plan on putting them up on my website when it's all finished, and hopefully making a zine out of it. But I'm not sure yet with that.
What's your handle?
Roaming
What's
Matt.
your Instagram handle?
Roaming Matt, as in roaming.
ROAMING
Yep.
MATT.
That's it.
All right. All right.
Made sure I
Cool.
was
Thank you.
following you. And I guess I already am, so yes,
It
account.
switches to you
Well,
automatically.
you just picked up a couple more followers, Matt.
Yeah, you did.
Awesome.
But you have to follow back.
Absolutely. I already followed Bex back. I'll do it right now too.
That's cool. There's somebody I'm following that's doing quarantine photos as well. Can't remember her name at the moment, but they're pretty cool. Where she's taking pictures of people on their front porch and stuff, and I love seeing people like kind of embrace the situation, you know. Oh, these are cool, black and white.
There's one guy I saw that is
There's a lady in my hood doing that.
There's a portrait photographer that is doing front porch portraits now.
Yeah.
Cool. Good idea.
Hi, Joan and Leroy.
Whoa.
It's nice to see y'all.
You're muted.
I've decided that RJ has the best background. The curtain.
Yeah. And then his daughter pops in there every so often, so that's adorable.
Yeah.
Ah, lovely little girl.
And I saw that Debbie had a surprise visitor who kind of crawled out of the room after he was discovered. So it's kind of funny. We're seeing cats, dogs,
both
kids.
Matt and I have had our cats show up throughout.
Yeah.
Who is D? Somebody is D that is muted.
Oh,
There's a tail.
Kathy and Hal.
We're here.
We're here.
There they are. Yeah. And Joan and Leroy.
Hi, we're there. We're here.
Can't hear you.
And that's my husband. He's in a different room.
I have to let the dog out again.
So just wanted to kind of talk to people who just joined just now. We are talking about our experiences doing shelter in place. So please jump in and start talking. Let us know how you are handling this situation.
Unmute us.
We started out working a lot because our studio and darkroom is at the house here, so it really didn't really affect us at first. And for the first month, we were just working because we had a show coming up in June. But about a week and a half ago, we found out that was canceled. So we're still just working a little bit, but that the pressure is off for the show, which is good because we're having trouble getting materials. So it kind of worked out, and of course nobody can go. So
Well, actually,
cleaning and fixing.
I've got a rotating exhibit with a couple of other artists at a jewelry store that they were closed for a while and they're back open now, and they wanted us to go ahead and change out the art now, and we said no, we'd rather wait another month or so, and they're okay with it.
But they're not open.
Well, they're open now. They just opened again.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, if they're what did they call it? Sole proprietorships, they can be open if they can maintain the distance.
And that's what they are.
Yeah, and let's face it, how many people at a time do you have in a jewelry store anyway? Like the galleries, it's like, well, I can only have 3 people in here. It's like, do you ever have more than 3 people?
Right.
That's right.
That'd be a good day.
Yeah, but Mother's Day is coming, so all these people are buying jewelry, right?
Right. My
Maybe.
kids are, I'm sure. Undoubtedly.
Yeah, Mother's Day was always good for West also, but no
Yeah.
West this year.
That hurts. That really hurts. I'm like
It's
looking
going
at
to
my
be my
calendar
first
going,
year
I
with
should have
West.
been here. I should be doing this. I should be, but not. So that's
Yeah. Yeah.
So I haven't sold any paintings since February. I just started picking up some shifts driving for Favor, as you could just see while I was driving. But hopefully we can, I don't know, I started this book called The Creative Career Path. That was really inspiring. It's by Andy J. Pizza. He has a famous podcast. You might have heard of him. But it's really been helpful.
what's the name of it?
Your Creative Career Path. It's available on Etsy, and it's available as an instant download. And it's not very long. So you can download it, and if you're so inclined, you could just print it and then go listen to some of his podcasts on that subject. And you can just sort of scribble your notes on there or not. I mean, whatever.
What was the name of it again?
Your Creative Career Path by Andy J. Pizza.
Your Creative Career.
Yeah. But I'm done driving for today, so
Okay, good. Because I was
we
just
can
gonna.
all go inside together.
Because I was just gonna say we appreciate you tying in, but please be safe. So I'm glad you're done
Right.
for the driving.
Done. Check.
Denise, I'm confused by the Greg Jones handle. You're muted. You heard?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, he's my sweet husband.
Oh, okay.
Who said hi?
Okay. But we didn't pop up.
So how are you doing?
I think we're all good.
I'm like, we pop.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. More and more people joining. Yay. We might have to do this all the time.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I like about this is that people can see everyone's names and match the names and the faces, and so it's like some people that haven't really met or maybe met one time.
Right.
It's helpful to see everyone again.
We can see Cookie's ceiling. There she is.
Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
Has anyone read the Creative Calling?
The what?
Creative Calling
Mm-mm.
Oh, yes, I have.
by Chase Jarvis.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Everything he does is good.
Yeah.
Outside.
Well, we're gonna miss Kathy Zinna's baked goods this time. So last time she made all those good
I
treats.
was actually thinking about that very thing earlier. It's like, oh dang, no
lemon
way of getting
bars
Kat's baked goods. Oh, bummer.
She'll have to make twice as many for the next meeting.
And then we'll hoard them all. All right, I'm going to give folks a couple more minutes. It looks like we're getting a pretty good turnout. I think this is as many, if not more, than we usually get on our face-to-face meetings. So I think the fact that people don't have to deal with rush hour traffic and can dial in from the comfort of their home is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yes, we didn't have to leave
Haven't
it
had an oven in,
4:30.
gosh, since January. I'm
We have like 25 on. Is that right?
I think so.
27.
27.
Oh.
Well, that's true. If you count that some of the folks are calling with 2 people in, then we have more.
True.
Right. But now
We
26.
lost one. Mhm.
It only shows 25 at a time. If you look at the edge, the
Yeah, you
side edges, you
Yeah.
can scroll back and forth.
I like to scroll so I don't have to look at myself.
I have to tell you, the other day, Martha helped me because I couldn't get audio. And so we did a one-on-one and it really helped. I have to do it with Chrome because Safari won't support the audio, but I learned it. So we're good. Thanks to
Awesome.
Martha.
Yeah,
And
thank you, Martha.
You're
And
welcome.
Martha made 2 masks for Bill and me, and they were Red Hot Chili Peppers. So we're very cool now. Thanks to Martha.
You're quite welcome.
Can you model them, Jane?
I could. You want me to? I haven't been out of the house to go to the store in 2 months. All I've done is walk. So I haven't used my mask really, but I think I will next week. I think I will. I'm of that age where they don't want us out and about, but I'm going to do it.
Are you getting favored deliveries from HEB? Jane, are
No,
you getting favored
Bill's been going out.
deliveries from HEB? No.
Okay, I'm thinking that we'll go ahead. We seem to have a pretty good turnout. I'm thinking we'll go ahead and get started. RJ, we want to thank RJ for letting us use his Zoom Pro account, and he is recording this. So if there's anything that you want to go back and revisit, we will get that out on the website and probably give us a couple weeks to do that. And so it'll be available for folks to go back to and refer to whenever they like. So welcome everybody. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to share my screen. We will see if this works. Okay. Can folks see anything yet?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. Does it say Creative Art Society creating an online presence and selling art online?
That's
Yes.
it.
Awesome, it works. I love technology. Okay, so hopefully I'll be able to advance it as well. Let's see what happens. Okay, so what we'd like to do in this meeting is I'm going to do an intro, talk a little bit about exhibit status, and the majority of the presentation will be Lisa Zinna and Leslie Kell talking about creating an online presence. And then we'll end with questions and answers, and it can be anything related to CAS, not just the presentation. So first of all, welcome. This is our first ever general meeting video conference. So we really appreciate you guys joining in, and please bear with us if we have any technical difficulties. I'm hearing an echo, or is anyone else hearing that? Okay, thank you. So please stay muted when you're not speaking. You can unmute, as I think most of you have figured out, by clicking on the mute icon at the bottom left of your screen. If you need to raise your hand, there should be, I think, 3 dots at the bottom of the screen. This is from what Trudy sent me for a raise your hand option. And then I'd like to suggest that if you have any questions that come up as we go through the presentation, that you use the chat button to kind of write your question down, and then when we get to the Q&A section, we can go back and look at this, and this way the questions don't get forgotten, but at the same time it doesn't interrupt the flow of the presentation. So hopefully that will work out. We'll give it a try at least and see if that works out, unless of course there's something really obvious, like I go off screen, or something drastic happens and you need to let me know. Please feel free then to let me know. I'm finding this to be an interesting experience because I can see only a few faces, and then I'm seeing a big white screen, and then I'm seeing what I think I'm showing. So I'm not sure that I can see if anyone's sending a chat or anything, but we'll forge ahead. So we have these meetings roughly once a quarter. We do leave a bit of a gap for the summertime, so our next meeting won't be until September 2nd, and then the last meeting of the year will be November 4th. They are the first Wednesday evenings. Hopefully by time of the next meeting, by September, we will be back able to do gatherings, and if so, then the next meeting will be in person at the Windsor Park Library. If not, we will be back to using Zoom. So we really appreciate everyone's flexibility and understanding as we work through this new and different time for us. Okay, so in terms of exhibit status, our rotating and curated venues are pretty much, they mostly have been closed for the last month and a half. So our venue coordinators are trying to reach out to these businesses as they reopen. It's looking like most of the feedback is that the exhibits will be extended for another rotation. Most of the exhibits were installed just before the shutdown occurred. So in order to give art the chance to get its visibility, it makes sense to just extend them for another 2 to 3 months. Some exhibits, I think Duo Works was one exhibit where it was scheduled to strike right after the shutdown. So we'll have to figure out if it makes sense to leave the art in place or do a change out. What we'll probably will do is give artists the option of leaving their art in place. But that's something that we'll work through as Jane and the other venue coordinators find out from the businesses what their preferences are. So if you've got art out, hold on, you'll be contacted and plans will be updated as we know. I believe the Austin Public Libraries, thank you, Terry, for investigating this. They don't have an opening date at this point. So for a lot of our curated exhibits are at the public libraries. The schedule will probably get pushed out. Artists will still show, but their exhibits may be shortened, or there may have to be some adjustment depending on the venue's schedule as well as the artist's personal schedule. So things will be worked out. We will, try to maintain, artists that were scheduled to exhibit. We want to maintain that. It'll just be in a different time frame. So, so bear with us on that. Special events. So we had the Bass Concert Hall, and thank you so much to Jane for following up on this and trying to manage it all. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we'll get into the Bass Concert Hall this year. The curator is resigning her position. There's going to be a new curator, and we're being told that they're going to have a different artistic vision for their hall. And so it doesn't look likely that we'll be able to show there this year. What we're doing right now is trying to look for other venues to perhaps move that exhibit and put it in a different venue, but unfortunately the venues are all still closed. So we can't, we have some possibilities, but we haven't been able to get anything firmed up. So as soon as we hear we will let folks know what's going to happen with that exhibit, but it will likely be in a different venue other than Mass Concert. In terms of community events, some of us had signed up for the Pflugerville Fine Art Festival. As I think the artists know, it was canceled and they received refunds on their booth fees. However, Rob tells us that they are hoping to reschedule it for the fall. They just didn't want to sit on everyone's money, so that's why they refunded it, but they are hoping to be able to reschedule it for the fall, so that's a possibility still. Lastly, I wanted to mention we have two wonderful, amazing coordinators, Lisa and Amanda, for Cypress Grill. Unfortunately, they live up north. Cypress Grill is south. It's real tough for them to get down there during rush hour traffic early in the morning. So they would like to offer that venue up for as a new volunteer opportunity. If there's anyone out there who's interested in being a venue coordinator, and we'd probably look for 2 people because the co-coordinator really helps having a backup. Seems to be working out really well. Obviously, Amanda and Lisa are graciously willing to provide training and mentoring, and it'll be a gradual phase over, particularly in these slower times right now. So it can be a fairly long transition, but if anyone's looking to try out being a venue coordinator, this would be a great exhibit, a great opportunity. And just as a reminder, the venue coordinators do not have to pay commissions to CAS, and that's not just anything they sell at Cypress Grill, it's at any CAS venue. If you sell something, you don't have to be paying the commission. And also there is one entry/juried fee. Like some of our shows, like Lincoln Pin, we require a fee to enter that show, and that would be waived. One of those would be waived per year if you're a venue coordinator. So there are advantages, and then of course you get to know more about the organization. You get to hear about things happening earlier. You get to if you have a particular vision for how you want things done, this is an opportunity. So if anyone is interested or wants more information, please feel free to email me or Amanda or Lisa, and we'd be happy to speak with you. Okay, so the majority of this meeting is going to cover the topic of creating an online presence. We figured that this was a very, very important topic in these times, with all of our exhibits being on hold or in some cases canceled. Being online seems to be the way to go. And so we thought that it would be helpful to talk about various aspects of doing this. And for those of you who already have your social media and your websites and your online shops, bear with us, but I think a lot of us are like maybe part of the way there and not all of the way there. And so I think this information is going to be very helpful. We are extremely fortunate that we have Leslie Kell and Lisa Zinna, 2 of our members who are not only amazingly talented artists, but they're extremely business and social online savvy. I mean, it's just amazing the things that they've done with their website, with their presence. And so we're just really fortunate to have them as a resource, and we really appreciate their sharing their knowledge with us. So I'd like to turn it over at this point to Leslie and start that part of the presentation.
Okay, so we're going to talk about basically your online presence and how you can, affect people not in a physical setting. So we're going to talk about social media. Lisa's going to share her knowledge with us on that, and then I'm going to talk about websites and online shops, and we'll get started with Lisa.
Okay, thanks. You too. Okay, so there's a lot of different places you can share your art online, different platforms, which means, Facebook, Instagram. I'm going to talk about several things, even though I know more about Instagram than I do some of the other things, but that's just the way it is. It is good to, kind of find the place where you're most comfortable posting to, and what uses your abilities, like maybe you're a good videographer, maybe YouTube is good or better than, you know, some of the other things I'm going to mention. But anyway, just pick something that you enjoy doing and that you would keep up with because you enjoy doing it. And that way it'll make it so much easier. Okay. So, okay, Instagram. Like I said, I'm most familiar with that, and I spend a lot of time working on Instagram right now. I used to be also on Facebook with my art, but I've since gotten rid of it. Well, I've changed my name, my business name, so I got rid of it, but I guess at some point I could add it back because you can link the two accounts and do some cool things, but I haven't gotten there yet. So on Instagram, I mean, it's pretty easy to post. I know most of you, I see you on Instagram and you all have, most of you have accounts and are, you know, seem pretty good at doing all the things. And, but it's a matter of kind of getting your feed to look just right, engaging people and all that kind of thing. I attempt to post once a day, and I know some people post a lot more than that. And, you know, there's different ideas about what works and what doesn't, what gets more followers and whatnot. But at this point, I just do once a day, and that's good enough for me. So I'm going to just skip the hashtags for a second. When you're posting your art, the most important thing is to get a good photo of your art. As a photographer, obviously, it's easy for me to just post my photographs, but if you're posting a piece of a painting or a sculpture, your photos are super important. And getting the, you know, you can even just use your phone editor to improve the photos. Like usually, most of the time, you just need to brighten them up. I mean, it's mostly what I could see when I see pictures of art that don't look like the colors are quite right. You don't need to go to a big expense to get any Photoshop or anything like that. Just a matter of, you know, fixing them just slightly. So obviously the photos are super important for your art. And I think, has Terry given a info about photographing your art previously, or you're planning to down the road sometime?
I did that, and the information was going to be, if it's not already, posted on the member resources page.
Okay.
I mean, I can do it again, but I did it about a little over a year ago.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Just
and I think in the January meeting, she had a little bit of time to do like a brief version of her presentation.
Okay.
But yes, it is posted on the members resource page, a copy of the presentation.
Okay, good. Because that's all good information. Okay. Also, for people to find you on Instagram, you have to use hashtags. I mean, obviously you're going to have your friends follow you just because they know you, but to get other people interested in your feed, you need to use hashtags so that people can find you. If they're interested in looking at contemporary art, they might go to that hashtag and, you know, see who's all there. It doesn't mean you're going to necessarily show up in that feed, but, you know, the more tags you have, the better off it's going to be, and you'll attract more traffic that way. Okay, mix up the content. Sometimes you can have little videos in your regular feed. Obviously, pictures of yourself. You could be doing different things. You could be doing your art. You could have those little videos. What is it called? The time-lapse videos. Those are fun to watch. You know, if you paint and you can do a painting, those are super fun to watch. I think they get a lot of people looking at those. Anything else that you might be interested in to show kind of your personality and what you're interested in besides your art? Because sometimes if you just have art all the time, sometimes that, you know, people don't want to just look at art all day long, and I maybe do, but not everybody does. And So that kind of mixes it up. It is good to have a good visual when you look at the entire feed, you know, when you can see all your posts at once and you scroll through your whole feed. It's good that they look similar. Some aren't like super dark and some are super bright. You know, it's hard to get a consistent look and feel, but it is kind of the goal to have it look like it all goes together. Okay, so then there's, actually, I don't know if this is on this page or not, but anyway, I will jump into the part about stories. And if you don't know what stories are, they're those things that go across the top of your feed where they're little short videos or whatever that you add. And it kind of, I use it as showing my personality a little bit more. Like I wouldn't necessarily post something goofy that I do in my regular feed, but I'll put it in a story because it's only up there for 24 hours and then it goes away. They are saved, they are archived if you have that set up, but, and you can save those in your, what are they called? The highlights, I guess they're called, those little round circles. Anyway, the stories are fun. I started getting more involved in those just because kind of you can show people progress shots maybe of your painting. Maybe you don't want to put a progress shot in your feed, but on a story, it's kind of fun to say, oh, look where I'm at, you know, this is where I'm at with this painting right now, or a little video, or, you know, family stuff. I just, you know, like I say, I feel like it's good for showing your personality a little bit more. And sometimes you can't do it quite as much in the regular feed. Also, it does help when you talk about yourself. I know Jen, I'm going to use her as an example because Jen Landis has a really good feed and she talks about her personal stories and struggles, and it's, you know, really engaging content, and that's what you need to keep people interested and keep coming back and wanting to, you know, comment and whatnot. So the way to get more people following you is to comment, you know, find people you follow, comment on their things, then they feel like they should comment on yours. I mean, it's kind of a, you know, I'll follow you, you follow me kind of thing, which sounds a little silly at times, but at the same time, you know, we all want more people to see our art, and that's kind of what we have to do. And I feel like we have this perfect opportunity with all these artists and people that we know in this one group where we can, you know, engage each other, chat back and forth in the post. And what that does is it increases engagement, and you'll show up more in people's feeds. So it is a benefit to everybody if we could all kind of help each other out here. And I feel like I said, having this big group of artists is the perfect opportunity to help each other out. Okay, next page, Joyce. Okay, so make your feed a source of inspiration. Like Leslie's feed has been really fun lately. She's had a lot of different birds. She's taken photos of birds. They're just like gorgeous. And then her and Jen both did they were watching a cocoon turn into a butterfly. And oh my gosh, they've been really fun to watch. Things like that. People like to be, you know, get a little something different, something interesting about your personal life, keeps them entertained. And obviously, I think we all know to follow different artists you admire and beautiful photography, and it's like too easy to add too many followers or people that you follow, and then of course you don't see the people you actually want to see because you're following so many people. I've kind of gotten caught up in that problem, so I started like deleting some people I follow because it was too much. And then after, I mean, I kind of was in Instagram when I first started, and so who I liked way back then, before I wasn't even an artist back then, and now I don't have the same interest, so I kind of try to go through there and weed out things to keep, so I can see who I want to see, I guess. Let's see. Okay, the stories I've already talked about. Okay, there's a thing called later.com that I don't use, but I can see where it's completely like a great service, and it's free. and you could post ahead of time, like say I want for next week. I mean, it doesn't have to be because you're going to be out of town, but if you're not, if you're a really good planner, which I am not, you can go on there and schedule like your Monday through Friday posts for next week, and then you're done and you don't have to worry about it. So that's kind of a really, really great thing if you can do that. I am so spur of the moment that I annoy myself sometimes. I mean, I literally will create a post the second before I want to post it. So but that's just the way I am. It works for me, but that doesn't always work for other people. So I think this later.com is brilliant, actually. I would actually do it more for the CAS website, because there's a lot of times where I know ahead of time what's coming up, and that would make sense to get it ready to post when I want it to post. Okay, so here's the example I was talking about. This is Jennifer Landis, and she's in CAS, and she just does a lot of interesting things. She shows video, she shows the products she uses, the paints she uses, the glitter, the resin, I mean, everything, and the progress she makes, and her story. I mean, it's really engaging, and she's a really good example. So if you want to follow her and kind of learn some lessons from her, that would be smart, because I feel like she does a really good job. Yeah, I mean, she's loving wildflowers now, so she's taking all these photos of wildflowers, and it's really, really fun. Another one is, these people are not in CAS, but they are good if you want to get an idea of branding and how things, their stuff all looks well together. You know, as you scroll through the feed, it all looks beautiful, and they actually they live in LaGrange at the moment. They're moving back to Texas, or to Austin, but they sell their goods at Magnolia in Waco and whatnot, and they're real interesting. And again, she shares her stories in her stories all the time about her family, and again, real engaging. Okay, so like I said, Facebook is another place you can share your art. You can create a separate page for your art, and that's going to be mostly if you don't want, if your art page should be public if you want people to find your art. And if you want to keep your personal page private, then make a separate page for your art, which can be public. So, like I said, the other thing you can do is connect your Instagram and Facebook together, since they're obviously owned by the same people. It's easy enough to connect the two together. And when you post on Instagram, it automatically posts it to Facebook, which saves a lot of time as well. Sometimes I'll go in, for CAS, I'll post on Instagram and post it to both of them, and then I'll go into Facebook and update the links to people's names so that you can tag them, because the tags from Instagram don't work in Facebook. So that's one of the few things I have to change. But it's real convenient to be able to update two places at once. Okay, the thing about Facebook is the person has to like your page before they can keep seeing it pop up. And so you kind of need to announce that on your personal page and say, hey, here's my art page, like it, and then you can follow along. So that's the one little trick that, like you have to make sure people are liking it before you can get any followers. And then you can also post events that come up in Facebook, which is convenient if you're having an opening or a show or something, and you can post it as an event, which we do with CAS once in a while. So go ahead. Okay, and here's an example of Leslie's, and you can see that I liked the page with the little thumbs up, so that means that I'll get her feed when she posts something in there. So she has a good example of doing that, because Leslie, you do you post in Instagram and it automatically goes to your Facebook also?
Yes.
Okay.
Most of the time, that's how that happens. Sometimes I'll post, natively in Facebook, especially if I'm wanting to share a link for something.
Yeah.
But, I just wanted to mention in later, when you do later, it brings up 2 different posts, one for Facebook and one for Instagram, and you can edit those links at that time
Oh, cool.
in the Facebook post, and then it will go to Facebook with the right links.
You're all set. Wow.
Not tags though, but still.
Okay. No, that's good. I didn't know that. Okay. Very good. Okay. So these are some areas that I don't use too much, if at all. Twitter. Now, some people are really good with words. I mean, you can obviously post pictures in Twitter. And so if you have a way with words, with your art and, you know, engaging people with conversation, then this is the best place to do it. It seems like we have there's somebody in CAS that just joined that was really big on Twitter. So I didn't have an example to show, but I feel like it can be a good vehicle if you use it just right. Again, hashtags are super important in that feed as well. Okay, YouTube. Obviously, if you're painting and you're, you know, showing people how to paint and you're giving lessons and, you know, you're doing your own, you know, stretching your canvases and, you know, all kinds of different things, you could really do well, you know, in YouTube. Like I say, I haven't done much with it, but I feel like it's good for the instructional and any kind of how-tos that you want to put online. And obviously you can link, you know, from your Facebook to anyway, connect them all somehow. So let's see. Right, I mean, we all want a viral video, right? I don't know if they're that easy to make, but you never know. Okay, next one. Pinterest is another one. I mean, obviously I was on Pinterest years ago when it first started. I was obsessed with it, but only for looking at art. I looked at a lot of art on Pinterest for the longest time. I just loved, oh my gosh, so inspiring. And you can post your art there and you could get some traction there. And Leslie, what were you saying about Pinterest the other day that you were was a good idea? I can't remember.
I think what's cool about Pinterest is that it's very, very visual. You can have live links in it, unlike Instagram, but it also is there forever.
Right.
I mean, I get a notification of a pin of mine that was saved to another board that I posted 3 years ago.
Right.
So it doesn't fade away like Instagram or Facebook feed.
Right.
So there's that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then also I would use it for, you know, looking up display ideas for art fairs and stuff. I always just, you know,
oh yeah,
so many cool ideas out there for that. Well, if you have a good display, like Debbie Upton had a beautiful display for her art when we did that that one show in the February. Where was that at? Sculpture Garden. Anyway, great for that kind of stuff and getting ideas, obviously, and color palettes and oh my gosh, yeah, so many good things from there. Okay, so was this mine? Okay. Anyway, just keep posting and inspiring other people and being inspired by other people using your social media. It's really, like I say, it feels like one of the not the only way of doing things, but the best way, like the quickest way to get people's attention these days. And TikTok is another one of those things that's kind of for the young people now, but I wonder if it will get more popular among everybody pretty soon. It's those real short videos. Anyway, follow CAS, we'll follow you and follow each other and we'll help each other out and see what we can do. And there's some links down there for different instructionals and that's it.
And I think this is going to be posted on the CAS resource page. So those links will be live for you, I think.
Yes, they will be. I sent the charts already to Rob, and so when he gets a chance, he'll put them on the members resource page, and we'll talk a little bit more about that at the end. So thank you very much, Lisa, for going through the social media. I really appreciate it. Now we're switching gears, and we're going to turn it over to Leslie.
Oh, by the way, I'll have that all posted tomorrow.
Oh, what, Rob?
Everything will be posted on the website tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you.
So this is probably stuff that a lot of people know, but I'm going to run through it. And if you have questions, stick them in the chat. And, you know, one of the things we're trying to do is get everything's going online more and more. I don't know how many people I've talked to have redesigned their website during this quarantine and tried to reinvent how they sell art. So there's basically there's lots of ways to be online. Obviously, you can have your entire online presence as a social media. The problem with that is you're there with everybody, and people have to scroll through your feed, and they can't see your body of work, and they can't, you know, it's great for a glimpse, but it's to have your own website is a matter of leveling up, really, in a lot of ways. And a lot of people don't want a website. They don't want the maintenance of it. So there's other options. You know, you can do the personal website. You can join an online portfolio site like a Fine Art America or a Pixels or Saatchi, or you can create an online shop. And much of the online shop is really kind of more of a supplemental to a website, but we can we'll go over all of that as we go through this these slides. So next, I don't remember what's next. Okay, so basically, you know, why you need a website is to project a professional image, because so we're talking about selling here. And if I'm shopping something and I go to 2 websites and one of them sucks, I'm probably going to buy from the other website because I want to deal with a pro. I don't want to deal, you know. So your professional image is really very much tied to your online image. And so you want to make sure that you project that image, and you want high quality images of your work. You want it to be clean and pleasing. One of the things you also want to do, and we won't really talk about that much in this, is you want to build your email list. There's a lot of marketing to be done through email. And and you want to also clearly show people how to buy your work. And your Instagram, while it's pretty and keeps people engaged, when they go to buy your work, they're probably going to want to go to your website and see what's there. So you want a clear call to action of how to buy the work. And then you want also to grab those email addresses, because down the line, your followers on Instagram and Facebook are not always going to monetize for you. So what's going to be helpful is having an email list that you can send people, you know, your show announcements or what have you. But so those are kind of the top 3 goals of having a website, at least according to the article that I grabbed that from. So what you should include on a site, and this probably goes for most any flavor of site, whether you're building your own or doing an online portfolio, and I'll explain the difference in a second. But you need to have your work, obviously. You need to, and these are things that when you apply to a gallery, perhaps, or a show, they always ask for your website. So when they go to your website, this is what they're going to want to see. Or people, your potential collector. You know, you want a gallery of your work that displays it nicely. I used Lisa's here. These are some pages from her site. You want something that talks about you, and including your resume, your artist statement, any press that you've gotten, you know, that deepens the story about you, to show your exhibits and what you're doing and what's coming up so people can come see you when we can come see people. Obviously, you know, you need a contact page so people can get in touch with you, follow you on social media. News and blog, news and blog is kind of a, you know, maybe you do this, maybe you don't, but it's a nice way to take those awards or this happened or that happened and put it on a page of kind of, you know, here's what I'm doing kind of thing, or what I've done. And then of course, you know, how do you buy my artwork? That needs to be clearly defined too. So now I'm going to touch on the personal website. If you go this route, a lot of people don't really know the difference between, and y'all probably do, between a domain and a host. But if you're going to do a website, you need both. You need to have your address on the internet, which mine is lesliekell.com. I had to go through a domain registrar. I think I used Bluehost. I don't even remember now. And purchased my name, and that's mine as long as I keep paying for it. Kind of like CAS has creativeartsociety.com. And then you'll need a host, and that is where your files actually go and are stored. And the host is probably, could be the domain where you buy your domain. It's also could be where you build your site. So, but those are the two things that you might need. And domain names are cheap. Even if you're not going to do a website, you can go buy your name just so nobody else has it. And then, because I've heard of people like try to get their name and they can't because somebody bought it up and then they try to sell it to them for a higher price. Piracy kind of. But if you want to secure your name, it's like $12 a year. It's, you know. So anyway, the host is a little more. So you can begin with a free. You go to Wix, Weebly, WordPress, Squarespace, something like that. You don't have to have a domain at that point. And the whole thing is free, and correct me if I'm wrong, probably Rob knows best. He just unmuted. And you can build your site.
It's not free.
Huh?
I don't think Squarespace is
Oh,
free.
okay. So, and WordPress, I know Weebly can be, and GoDaddy can be.
Yeah, Weebly has a free site or free availability for a site. It does put a little tag at the end of the page, you know, powered by Weebly type thing. But I use the free site for a number of my domain names.
Right, and you can also, or you also don't get lesliekell.com. You'd get weebly.com/lesliekell.
So what you can do, Leslie, on that, if I can interrupt, is
Yeah.
like I use Google Domains for all my domains because it's $12 a year.
Yeah, you bought your domain.
Which is cheap. I forward my domain to robmckenzie.weebly.com. So you can put in robmckenzie.com
and it just forwards.
And Google forwards it to the Weebly domain. So it doesn't look like it's Weebly when you want to advertise your name or want to print your name anywhere.
And so that's a great workaround, you know, for sure. There's ways to get around it. In general, I don't think a free site will allow you commerce. Am I right about that, Rob? You can't actually put a shop on a...
That's why I was wrong about Squarespace. Sorry about that. I was corrected. Squarespace does have a free, but I was thinking of, the commerce is not free. So,
yeah Weebly's got very limited on the free part.
Mm-hmm.
You've got limited availability. I think you can do commerce, but I think you can only do like 5, only maybe 5 items or something like that. But it's everything's limited on what you can do with the free spot. But I pay for one and then use the rest for free. So
So, and a lot of these sites are upgradable to a plan that you can connect your, like I have WordPress, but I have it, I don't have the free one. I have, so it's just goes in, there's no extra branding or anything like that on it, but you can start free and then upgrade if you own your domain. So there are a lot of benefits from owning your own domain. It's more professional. Your SEO, which is search engine optimization. You're easier to find. You can get your personal email address. So it's leslie@lesliekell.com, and you have more options for online sales on your site. We'll get to a way to get around that in just a second. But when you choose your domain name, I suggest keeping it simple so people can find you. It's just be intuitive. And like I said, if you go with the not free, you will pay for a domain name, and like it's $12 a year or something, and then you'll pay for the hosting. So that's how you can, those are kind of different ways of getting your own website. So the other thing you can do, and a lot of people do this, is you can do basically what's considered an online portfolio. And this is a little bit, this is for selling. So you can sell originals. A lot of these places will do print on demand, like Fine Art America. You put your artwork in there and people, order up prints and they actually fulfill it and ship it. I think if you're doing originals, you would do the fulfillment. So there's a lot of different options around that, but these are a little more robust in terms of information you can put on there. So as you can see in this example, Greta's got about, education, events. Now, of course, you got to go in there and keep it up to date, but you can, use this as your site. The problem with something like this is if Saatchi goes out of business, your site's gone. It's just that simple. You're dependent on them. Not that they're going to go out of business, but Also, in a site like this, you don't put your artwork up there and think everybody's going to come flocking to you. You're up there with 10,000 artists, so you still have to do your promotion to get traffic to your page. You're just not going to. So then, and here's Rob. So what Rob has done is he's got his site, and rather than, and tell me if I'm wrong, Rob, rather than having commerce on his site, he's got a Shop Now button that takes you over to Etsy, which is it's a pretty nice way to have commerce on your site. So you don't have to deal with the WooCommerce and all the plugins and all that junk. Etsy does all the work for you in that regard. I believe in Etsy you are fulfilling it yourself, though. It's not like in a print on demand, and there's lots of options for that. So if you have a site already and you're like, I want to sell on my site, one option is to just add a Shop Now button and go with one of these other online store applications, and there's lots of them. I just threw some up here and I think
Etsy is pretty easy to use, I think. And I found that the more you work it, the more you products, the higher up you end in their algorithms. So the more people find you. And the nice thing about Etsy is there's thousands and thousands of people searching for stuff on Etsy that will never, ever find your site to find what you have. But with a site like Etsy or some of these others, people are going to that site to look for whatever, and they'll find yours along with a few others, but hopefully they'll like yours more.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a kind of a nice way to add shopping to your site. And even if you have shopping on your site, going with something like this, like Rob said, it just increases your hit rate. If what you're selling works on Etsy. Now, so whatever you do, it's important to if you're selling, this isn't necessarily about being having a more of a, well, anyway. Think about what you want to see when you're shopping. It needs to be mobile friendly. You need to present it professionally with information about the items. You need to list your price. If you want to sell it, you got to tell people how much it costs. You need to talk about shipping and return policies. And you need to make sure it's secure, because nobody wants their credit card stolen. So that SSL is real important. And most of the online stuff will have it. You might have to pay a little extra on a personal website to get the security. But anyway, there's a whole bunch of stuff here in the chat, and I haven't read any of it, so I don't know if I can zip through this for a second. Some of these are LinkedIn questions for you, Lisa. So there's some discussion about WordPress versus Wix. I use WordPress, but that's how my person set me up. I could see the drawbacks of that. So, but I'm not redoing my site. Took too long to do. So, do those of you selling online include shipping in your price? I have it separate. I have shipping separate. Now, sometimes I'll do free shipping for people, but artwork's expensive to ship. So that's all I have.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Leslie. This is a lot of information, and I've got a website, but I don't have online store, so this is really pertinent information for me, so I appreciate it very much.
As I was getting ready for this, I'm going to put a link in here. I was getting ready for this, and I saw a thing on Twitter, everything you need to know about selling online. So I'm going to share the link. Y'all might want to, bookmark it or something.
Okay.
How to sell your creative art online, start to finish guide.
Whoa.
So, we could have just done that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. In closing, I wanted to mention, we've kind of talked about the members resource page on our CAS website. This is kind of brand new. It just went online within the last week or so. There are a couple ways you can access it. One is if you go to our Creative Arts Society website and then click on the membership tab and then click on membership information and go down to the bottom of the page, you'll see a link to the members resources. Or you can just click on this link that I have in orange here, and that'll take you directly to the members resources page as well. We've got all kinds of stuff out there, and we're continuing to add content. So, take a look at it, and if there's something that you feel we should add or you have a question, just let us know. And we appreciate all the input we get, because this is new for us, so we're trying to bring value, and with as much feedback as you guys can give us, we'll have a greater chance at being something that you'll use and that is helpful to you. Additionally, as mentioned in the newsletter, we do have a YouTube channel, and we've got some videos out there of past demos and presentations, including the I guess it was February meetings presentation that Shruti graciously videoed for us. So, and I think we're going to try, RJ's going to send us a video of this presentation, and we'll put that online as well, and probably have a link to it from the members resource page to the YouTube channel. So if you have any demos or content that you would like to put out, share with us on our CAS channel, please feel free to email Rob and share that with him, and that would be very much appreciated. And then, of course, as we mentioned, CAS has its own social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so please follow us. So, in conclusion, I'd like to open up again to any questions that anyone has. And this can be related to the presentation, or it can be related to exhibits or anything that's CAS related. Feel free to unmute and ask away.
Do you want to take it off screen sharing so we can see everybody's faces again?
Oh, good point.
Oh, look. Nice.
I guess I'm interested in feedback from folks in terms of, did this format work for folks? Were there, give me roses and thorns in terms of good things, bad things? We'll take any feedback you have.
I love it. I don't have to drive across town.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I agree. I actually thought the weird thing is it's like the same people that would have showed up at the meeting are here today. I was thinking we get a lot more people that don't normally show up because of the traffic, but
Works fine for me.
I thought Lisa and Leslie did a fantastic job, and the visuals helped. You could follow as they spoke.
Yeah.
Joyce, you did a great job. This is really awesome, intimate, and very informative.
Yeah.
I have to agree. I think that the presentation was really well done. It was very helpful information. I appreciate the web links that you provided. And it's great to see everybody's faces.
Hi, Cheryl. Cheryl, look at her.
It almost have a name next to the face, because I don't necessarily know some of the newer people, and so that's nice to have.
Well, I want to thank both of you presenters. That was a very first class professional presentation. And I think it's very well done.
I'm sorry, Joan, not Joyce. Not Joyce.
Yeah, this is a lot of good information.
I just turned off our
Yeah.
mute. That was a good meeting.
A lot of work put behind this presentation, Leslie, and worked really hard to put the whole show together. Thank you, guys.
Okay, I'm just paging through the chat questions just to make sure we covered everything. And if anybody wants to copy Leslie's link, go ahead and do so before we shut the video down. Okay, well, we are just about at exactly 1 hour. So I think the meetings go faster in this format as well. So I guess that could be an advantage too. Hopefully it didn't squelch anyone in terms of, if you wanted to say something. I think that having the chat was kind of cool, that people could give comments as we were going along, and I think that was kind of useful. So that was cool. So, okay, any last comments or questions? Okay, all right.
Thank you for doing it.
No, you're very welcome. I think it is important for us to be a community.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Joyce.
Everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Audrey.
Good to see everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. Hey, Jane.